Welcome to another virtual forest school with Forest Quest. So what we're going to do this week is we're going to wander around our village and have a look at some of the trees to help you understand how to identify them. So I've got a couple of things here which help us identify the leaves and the trees, but now's a good time because all the leaves are out. So we're going to go and have a look at a few trees and we're going to try and spot what they are. What I'd like you to do is have a look around your village when you're out for a wander and see if you can identify what the trees are, and maybe let us know what special trees you've seen. So the first tree we've found is a cherry blossom or wild cherry. You might have seen these in the village, in your village perhaps, with lots of blossom on about a month ago. Really pretty white and pink blossom. You can see the leaves up there. Look like a classic leaf shape, I suppose. You can look at the bark and it's got these ridges on. So it's shiny with these little horizontal bars on it. Later on in the autumn, of course, it will have what look like cherries on them. So this tree's a rowan tree. They have a lovely orange berry in the autumn. Its leaves, quite a number of what are called leaflets, quite small leaves on there, and they're quite small and they've got these little jagged edges to them. The tree itself, quite shiny in places. Quite often get these in around houses, so we don't see many of those in the woods, but we do see them in villages. So the next tree we found is an ash tree. So there's kind of 3 stems to this one ash tree, and that's not unusual. You often find ash trees doing that. And again, they have the same concept as the rowan tree. So they've got a number of leaflets on them. I've actually still got the rowan leaf there, and you can see side by side they do look quite a bit different. Quite a common tree is the hawthorn. This is it here, again covered in lots of ivy, lots of individual trunks, and that's what the leaf looks like. So it's quite a distinct shape with lots of these lobes on it, as they're called. Not a very big leaf. And in the autumn it has bright red berries on them called haws. Of course, all the year round they have nasty thorns on them, so you have to watch out for those, but that's why it's called a hawthorn. Okay, so this is a beech tree in someone's garden. Leaves look like that. It's got a bit of a coppery effect to this, so it might even be a sort of copper beech. And if you look underneath the beech tree, you're going to find these beech nuts. So a beech nut would have been in there, and this is the casing from last year. So often get those underneath the beech tree, so it's a good identifier. So this is a weeping willow, or white willow as it's properly called. Nice thin leaves, quite light on the other side. They are big trees. And so this is a lime tree. That's the leaf, nice heart shape. And what you often find underneath lime trees are bits of the bark that have fallen off, and it's all really stringy. Look at that, stringy, really good for cordage. That's why we like lime trees. So this tree is a sycamore tree. Quite large leaves, and they're part of the maple family, so you can see kind of a maple leaf type shape to the leaf. Okay, so this is a silver birch tree. Up here we've got a good example of the leaves with some catkins that are showing already. And over here you can see the classic silver birch trunk. This one's getting quite old, so it's all breaking up and there's only bits of white. If you look further up the trunk, you can see more white as you go up. So in here we've got an elder tree. Notice the sort of triangular shaped grooves inside the on the trunk there. The leaves are a bit like ash and rowan. Each leaf has got several leaflets. Each one has got about 5. They do vary slightly, and this time of year we're starting to get the elder flowers appearing. The other noticeable thing on the elder is these very straight sticks that come out of the trunk from all places. And here in the outskirts of the village we have another type of willow tree. So this one is actually a crack willow. Quite thin leaves. So these are the seeds, a little fluffy thing. It's coming off in my hands. Got little fluffy bits on. That's the seed. And if you have a look at the tree itself, got lots of shoots, lots of trunk, all sprouting up from the floor. So you can see the typical shape of this type of willow tree. Hello! So this is the last tree. It's a massive black poplar tree. Look at the size of it. Lovely leaves. They are triangular in shape. I'll bring one over to you so you can see. And also at this time of year it's got these seed pods on it. So there we go, the leaf of a black poplar and the seed pods that are at this time of year. Black poplar. Please do go and have a look at the trees in your village or even in your garden. Have a look in the books, see if you can identify what it is and let us know. We're always interested to know if you found some interesting different trees. Bye for now. See you next week.
Hello everyone. Today I thought we'd experiment with finding colours in flowers and leaves in our garden. Some of you will have done this before, but it is fun to try out and hopefully you'll find some good results. Perhaps when you go on a walk next time, take a collecting pot and pick up a selection of petals and leaves that you find on your way. Remember, don't pick all the flowers, pick one or two, or choose one or two petals maybe you find lying on the floor, or flowers that are just past their best, but you do need flowers and leaves, petals and leaves that are fresh and have got moisture in them. And then experiment. Squidge them up and press onto your paper to see what colours you can get. You might be surprised by some of the colours that you find. Dandelions are fabulous. Look at that beautiful yellow. Now, one thing you can do so that you keep track of what you've experimented with is to make a little chart, doing a little bit of the colour and then writing at the side what it was. My wild cherry didn't work very well at all, so I won't use that one again. But if I want a green, I know that if I get a fresh leaf, that will work well. And the clover came out a little bit green as well, which I wasn't expecting at all. Dandelions are fabulous. And if you want colours like brown, look for things like soil in your garden. And you might find that soil from different parts of the garden give you a completely different shade. But this was my way of keeping track so that if I wanted a particular colour, I knew what to do. Now, when I'd experimented with the flowers, I decided I would try using other things that I found. And perhaps you can do this too, but I would ask you, Mum or Dad, first. I went to the spice rack, put a little bit of spice in a pot, added some water to see what colour they would make. So here I've got chilli powder, curry powder and turmeric, but you might have others. So when you've found the colours that you need, you can then use them to colour in pictures or draw pictures for yourself. Now, I found a sheet with different stars on, coloured them in using the petals that I found, cut them out and stuck them onto a paper to make a different picture completely. To make them stand out, like this one, I have a star here. I cut a little piece of card, stuck it to the back of the star like this, and then I did a little bit more glue to add onto my picture, and it gives it a kind of 3D effect, which I can make even more by curling the edges a little bit. And as you can see, I've added a little bit of glitter just for fun. Now, the background, if you can see, I used another natural thing that I found in the house, but again, ask your mum or dad first, because the background I painted with blueberry juice. I got a couple of blueberries, put them in a pot, found a stick and mashed. And even though it's called blueberry, it doesn't make blue. You could perhaps try raspberries, strawberries, soft fruits, mash it up, and then you'll have made your paint. So I'm going to use that paint to paint the background of a new picture. It's not a very strong colour, but I expect the more blueberries you use, the stronger it will get. The fun part is the experimenting. I've got a little bit of background there, and then I'm going to use my leaves for the bottom part to make a kind of grass effect up in the top. I'm going to use my dandelion, make a kind of sunshine effect, and that's the background to a picture I'm going to do Now I found earlier on a picture of a boy and a girl. The boy's finished, he's going to stand about there. The girl I just need to complete. I found in my garden a poppy, and these are fabulous. You get such a lovely colour from them. I'm going to colour in her dress, and then I'm going to cut her out. So there we go. I've cut out my boy and girl, and what I've done is I've cut 2 long strips that I'm going to use on the back of their bodies. Again, to give that 3D effect and just make the picture pop a little bit. And you can add more detail to yours. It could be that you want to add some little flowers, little patches of colour, and then maybe a crayon or a pen just to add the details like stalks. Hopefully you will get a natural picture using the natural dyes in petals, grass, leaves, soil, anything else that you think that might work. Please check with your mum and dad first before you pick your flowers or use the things from the kitchen, but have fun experimenting. And if you do make a picture, please send it in to us. We'd love to see it. See you next week.